the Trevor Jackson Podcast.
What's popping with y'all, man? We gotta have this reparations conversation with Bill Maher and Charlamagne the God. One of my most viewed episodes on my channel is from a Bill Maher reaction to him and Killer Mike having a conversation about reparations. And I see that the conversation is kind of dying down in the YouTube stratosphere, in the podcast world. It ain't that many people talking about it like how we was previously, like in 2024 and 2025. So let's get the conversation back going. I want to know y'all perspectives in the comment section. Let's play this clip. This is kind of an old video, but I feel like the information in this video is still relevant to today. Let's get to it.
This month, the Biden administration said, speaking of money, they want to study reparations. Study it. Compensate descendants of slaves for unpaid labor by their ancestors. Jen Psaki, the press spokesman, said, we'll see what happens in the legislative process. I'm curious where you are on this issue. I mean, there's a collective guilt that's asking individuals to recompense. I think that's how we would frame that.
Listen, I think reparations has to happen for black people. You know what I mean? Because slavery was America's original sin. And I really don't think no good is going to come to this country until they atone for their original sin, which was slavery. I mean, my ancestors literally built this country for free. So when you see all of this money being thrown around, you know, $27 trillion in national debt, $1.7 trillion for failed F-35 fighter jets.
$500,000 for dogs.
$500,000 for fucking dogs. It's like if you're black in this country, you have to be like, well, what the hell? What's up with us? You know what I mean? So for me personally,
but again,
I don't even see what the issue is.
The issue is that that's the collective guilt. But individual white people are saying, I didn't do it, and my ancestors didn't even do it, and you are not your ancestors. I'm a descendant of those ancestors. I know, but okay.
Hey, listen, when a debt is old, a debt is old. Period.
But you've got a lot of money, so you say you should get more.
Should I get more?
Well, no, you should get a check.
Yes, I'm 97% West African, born in Charleston, South Carolina, so I should definitely get a check. But if it's to the point where, you know what, you make too much money, we don't think you deserve it, cool, give it to somebody who needs it. But to act like black people in this country don't deserve reparations is absolutely nuts to me. Hey, this is what I want. Put it like this, America, just treat black people like they're F-35 fighter jets. You had $1.7 trillion to throw at that bullshit. Throw it at the people who actually built this country.
I'm going to pause him right here because Bill Maher spoke on individual white people. And I know it's Caucasian individuals that will watch this podcast and think that, you know, I don't want to put nothing towards evolving black folks. That was the past. I didn't have nothing to do with slavery, you know, but you reap the reward from it. But I don't think that it's individual white people that's going to be paying for it. I think that the government brought this to fruition. They brought this conversation up about 40 acres and a mule and reparations and didn't hold themselves accountable to get the job done. And we just saying that was your word. We didn't even present this. It's not individual Caucasians that owes the debt. It's the government. It's the system. It's the structure that was created. And to me, they're specifically talking about slavery. I think that it goes beyond slavery when it comes to the destruction of black communities, when it comes to not letting black men who participated in wars not get involved in the GI Bill so they could own homes and things and create generational wealth for their own. I think it's beyond that. You know, Charlamagne talk about it's a debt that's old. That is true. I wholeheartedly agree with that. I've said that a multitude of times. But, you know, the IRS get their debts paid when it's owed to them. What do we got to do to hold the government accountable to pay the debt that is owed to us? And I feel like Caucasians, individuals, should come in solidarity with us. You know, they want us to come together with them against ICE, but they should be in solidarity with black people to get reparations bill passed, because it's obvious that the government did an injustice to us as a whole.
But
I don't see how anybody can dispute that.
But again, you didn't build this country.
So what?
You personally did.
So what? I'm a descendant of...
But I'm saying we can't write a check to a ghost, you know.
Why not?
Why not? Because, you know.
Especially when the ghost's descendants are still
that's a
here. Listen, let me ask you a question. How do you right the wrong of slavery then?
Well, I mean, I think reparations can come in many forms.
Why not? Cash is king. It's America.
No, I agree. I mean, I think reparations do come in many forms. So we should be spending much more on the schools that serve black children. We should be spending much more on the infrastructure in predominantly black communities. We should be doing all sorts of things to close the opportunity gap, which is enormous and which we've done a terrible job closing. A debt is owed, and that's one of the ways you repay it.
Simple as that.
The problem I have with the reparations conversation is the questions you were asking a moment ago. It's practically a non-starter. I mean, in terms of practicality. No one's going to agree on the terms. No one's going to agree exactly on the eligibility criteria. Nobody's going to agree on the amount, and it's politically very unpopular. And while we're talking about something that I don't think is passable, and that's why Obama didn't talk about it while
Why
he
is
was
it
in
not
office.
passable, though?
What?
Why is it not passable?
Look at public opinion polls. It's just not going to get done. And that's not about the merits. That's about the appeal out there. And in the meantime, there's so much we can and should be doing that could be called reparations about the debt we owe.
Well, let's change the name. Call it economic equity packages. Whatever it is, as he said, a debt is
You
owed.
could say Obamacare, which helped black and brown people way more than white people. Obviously, all people can sign up for Obamacare, but that is the practical effect of it, is a form of reparations. You know, I mean, there's a tax that everybody pays. I don't think it's capped. You know, rich people pay more. Those kind of solutions are different. I mean, listen to me what Glenn Lowry says. He says, it frames the moral claims African Americans legitimately have in the wrong way. The idea this debt can be paid is a terrible idea. That's his.
Here's the thing. Once again, it's white people not wanting to be held accountable.
Well, that's a black person.
Well, he's okay. A black person.
Glenn Lowry said that.
Okay, what's his name?
Glenn Lowry. You know Glenn Lowry.
Well, I just think that it's a debt that is owed to black people in America. Simple. And I'll ask the question: if y'all don't think it should be cash, what should it be? If y'all don't think it...
You know, Charlamagne said white people don't feel like they need to be held accountable. I want to know your thoughts about that, because do y'all think that all white people, just because they're Caucasian individuals, have to pay towards it? Just because they existed? Because, you know, I come from Tennessee, man. There's certain Caucasian individuals that had hardships just as hard as black individuals. The government lied to them also. The government put them in a sticky situation also. So Bill Maher said, write a check to a ghost. You know, when Trump first got in office last year and Doge was created and they found all of those checks that was being wrote to ghosts, they allowed that to happen for decades, years on in and out. Direct deposits being sent to people that's dead and gone, that has been dead 200 years ago, and people that isn't even born yet receiving finances. That's what Doge found out about. But it's okay when they do it. Ain't nobody getting locked up when they do it, but write a check to a ghost, it's a problem. You know, that's something that's crazy. The white guy who spoke, I don't know his name, correct me in the comment section if y'all know his name, but he said about the debt we owe. We don't owe the debt. You know, the government system owes the debt. I think he's a politician or something, but I do feel like the opportunity gap in the education for the youth could benefit the black community a lot. But me, to be honest with you, I feel like it needs to be just a cash payment directly to the people in their pockets, a cash payment. And the amount, you know, we'll never agree on the amount, because the amount is like, it for what was done, what amount could, you know, possibly make us feel any better? It's not no amount. Let me let them continue to cook, and I'm going to give my final take when they get through talking, and I would greatly appreciate it if y'all let me know y'all perspective on reparations in totality. Y'all thoughts on this conversation. Let's go.
It should be, if there should be any reparations to black people, what should it be?
All right. So
No, I want to know, do you think that black people should get reparations?
I think it should be more like what Frank and I are saying. Different, not a check. No, I think it should be done more by class. I mean, 21% of blacks are below the poverty line. So that means we're giving checks to 80% of people who are not in poverty. Shouldn't it better be done that if we're
I-
going to
I-
pass
I-
out
I-
money?
I-
That's what I was
and
starting
is
the
that-
show
is-
with. If we're
is
going to
that-
pass out money, let's
It
pass
should
it
start
out
with
to
the poor and disenfranchised.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Well, and
100%.
is a
I agree with that.
one-time check going to change a life as much as a real investment in education? As
Right.
much as a real investment in young people's social programs?
I think it should be all
I
of
think
that.
a debt is owed, and I have no problem paying it in cash. I'm just talking about where the money goes to help the most number of people the quickest.
Yeah, I think it should be all of that simply because there is really no price point that you could put on reparations for slavery. Like none. Like there's no number you can put on what my ancestors went through in this country.
Yeah.
You know, he said we give him only 21% of African Americans or FBAs or, you know, we've identified with so many things that is just ridiculous at this point, deserve reparations because it's only 21% of us that's actually in poverty. When it's a debt that's owed to me, I'm going to close it out with this. I feel as if Jay-Z deserved reparations. He's a billionaire. They want to, well, not they, because only Bill Maher spoke this. It doesn't matter if you're in poverty, if you rich, if you middle class, if you upper middle class, it doesn't matter your financial status. It matters what was done to the people that you represent, to the people that you identify with. He's trying to minimize the situation and say, I'm only going to give it to the poor, to impact the poor first. You know, I feel like they should receive it first, but just because you have a certain amount of finances, you should receive it also. Let's further this discussion in the comment section below. I'll be in there chopping it up, which I responded to every comment. Thank y'all for tuning in to my show. Hit the like button, hit the hype button on the way out. And if you're new to the channel, subscribe to the channel. If you're an OG on the channel, I greatly appreciate you, man. Here's a round of applause for all the supporters. Peace, love, plenty of abundance. Make sure you go get you some money, and I'm gone. Chill.
The Trevor Jackson Podcast.